Two, and one. Welcome back, Power Sisters, to another conversation here at the Gathering. As a part of For Her Place, I am your host, girl, Dr. Nita Jackson, bringing to you another one of our Power Circle leaders, Sharon Otness. She was a part of our morning session, so you got a chance to hear from her already. But today, right now, we're going to go a little bit deeper into our conversation so you get to know this beautiful woman that I've known for, we just discovered it's like 12 years. And you know how you meet someone and you instantly like them and you just want them in your life forever and you want to partner with them. And Sharon has always had this beautiful grace about her, this beautiful elegance about her, this gentleness of how she's able to help a woman navigate through just life, navigate through becoming, navigate through some challenges and difficulties. And she's just done it so graciously and beautifully. And I know, and my heart's always just like, I just love Sharon. I just, whatever I have to do, I just need Sharon to be a part of it. And I trust me when I say, I call Sharon often, hey, Sharon, you want to be a part of? And she just goes, okay, Anita. And I'm like, see, I will give and do anything for this woman, because she just says okay, and that's like a secret weapon. If you just say okay to me, I will fight for you, defend you, protect you, give to you, whatever I can do, you pretty much got it. She's one of those women who is a part of my life in that kind of way. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, you will have the exact same experience with her as a part of her community, as a part of her power circle. So Sharon, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Well, yes, of course. I just say yes.
Yeah, she
No.
does.
And if you've been watching Anita through this, or you know of Anita through other sources, you'll understand why I say yes. I mean, I remember first meeting Anita, and boy, this was way back when a lot of
Way
us
back when.
little baby coaches, and like it was just like we were just starting and kind of
Yeah,
not knowing what we were doing and where we were going. But Anita
so
was one of those
true.
people. She had big visions, big plans. And I remember, just she got a group of us together. I can't even remember where it was, but I remember her so vividly of mapping out this incredible like thing she was birthing. And I was like, wow,
How does this woman do this?
I'm yours, and I have, for the most part, always said yes. Once in a while, it hasn't worked out for whatever reason, but
Right.
she makes it very easy to say yes because she's got that vision that is amazing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And she's so right. It's so funny. We were in I think we're at Malibu. I think that's where we met, at a hotel out there. And we had this rich conversation. And like she said, I am on this planet to create platforms that helps women be seen, heard, valued, and celebrated. And my next iteration of my life is to help women's voices be heard on stages. There are some brilliant women in our community who just don't get the opportunities. They're always asking me, how do you get these stage opportunities? And I'm always like, doesn't everyone else get them? Because I get them a lot. Like literally almost every month I get about two or three. I got one today. So I think that's kind of funny that it happened today. And I want other women to have that. And I think I now accept that that's part of my calling on this planet, is to create the gathering, to create places like this so women can show up much more dynamically, heal their own personal lives. And this is going to be the place where I go really deep and vulnerable, because I don't know if the world really knows my story. You hear little hints here and there, but not the actual depth of it. You'll see, I just posted a comment that we just did an interview with Bevna, and she said, it's in vulnerability that strength emerges. And I'm like, yeah, this is where we as women get to finally find a place to be vulnerable. And you find the right women who will honor that. That's why I love you, Sharon, because even you and I have a lot of similar stories with our moms. We have the same kind of dog. So we talk about those kind of things, and we've gone through the challenges of watching our mothers deal with dementia. Sharon's mother passed away. My mom is still alive, but the journey that takes you through, particularly when you're trying to live your best life. And I will admit, Sharon is my sponsor when it comes to doTERRA, which has been a godsend. and a blessing to my ADHD life and brain. And she's helped me navigate through that and move up very quickly and powerfully there. And we've got some phenomenal plans for you women who don't use essential oils or you're ready to step into a whole nother level. Sharon is like the perfect sponsor to really help you build your business and have that kind of success. She didn't know I was going to say that, but I'm going to say it here boldly because every single woman offers something that's going to transform your life for the highest good. So Sharon, let's get deep into our conversation about you and your circle. Would you tell the women a little bit more? Let's go into a little bit more depth about your journey and how you came to be a coach that helps women design their life, because I know you've got a really rich background and experience.
Yeah, well, I guess my story starts at the age of like 45. I had to take a cold, harsh look in the mirror at myself. And I did not like what I saw.
Okay.
I did not like what I saw. I mean, I looked bloated, red. I was drowning in many ways. I had to face the fact that alcohol was could no longer be a part of my life. And it was what was making life tolerable, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
I realized I was in a marriage that was well, I will just say that it was it was
Wasn't the best.
it was not a good place to be. And I had a teenage daughter, and I needed to make changes. I mean, I just did. It was just that time when you really go, okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I actually did go into a medical detox because it had gotten that bad, and then into a 28-day program. Now, that's only part of the story, right? Because then you get done with that and it's like, now
Whole
what?
nother journey.
Whole
Right.
nother journey. So now you're getting a little more clear-headed. Cravings are going crazy. All of the things that I'm sure lots of you have heard of or maybe have experienced with yourself or other family members. And lots of changes have to be made. And unfortunately with me, I had to change my marriage. That was first and foremost for my safety and my daughter's. So that was a big scary thing because I hadn't been on my own for a very long time. And you suddenly go, can I do it? Can I make it? Plus, our whole friendship circle had mostly at that point been people that he had brought into my life. And I knew that I was going to lose a lot of them. And I did, but it's what you need to do. Right. So those are the life lessons that get very hard. And guess what? I'm still here. I got through. And in fact, again, as my head got clearer, as I was able to start making some better choices,
Yes.
getting my daughter and I out of that scary situation, then I started kind of just, and it was slow, but just little things that happened that started a new business and got a new home. I was able to do it. Now I will preface this by saying I was lucky. I was able to get out of a scary situation. I did have some resources. Okay. I had a house that could be sold. That was painful, but it could be done.
Right.
So, I got a little bit of child support. So I had some resources. I know not everybody has that. And
Right.
my heart goes for you. So try to get help wherever, however you can, if you're in that situation.
Yes.
But I had some resources. And so I was able to kind of start over. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, and this took a few years, I'm just going to be honest, I got myself into a little business that a friend of mine was doing with skincare. And I tell you, it opened up my eyes to a world I didn't really know was there. And that was the world of coaching. I
Yeah.
started seeing, as we did some traveling to different, hotels and things and, all kinds of
Yeah.
raw
When
things
we
like
did
that.
those things back then.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fun. It was something that I needed to get kind of out of my own space and try some new things, adventure. And I started listening to these different coaches and names that I'm not sure would even make a difference to people right now, but this was years ago, and they were like master coaches at the time.
Right, right.
And I was like, wow, who are these people? Like it just started opening my eyes to more possibilities and ways of being. And my confidence started growing. So
Mm,
that was like
love
really
it.
important, and again, being around more positive people. And so that just sort of got me more into the realm of self-improvement and self-development. So my version of AA, so to speak,
Yeah.
was really in the self-help world. And I'll say that with pride because it is whatever it takes for you. And that was what it took for me. I just needed to have a whole fresh new way of somebody modeling something different to me, um, that was positive.
I can't tell you how much, like I said, Sharon and I've known each other for a while. I've heard her story, and I knew the courage and the strength it takes to make a decision like that. And if anything, you're perfectly in alignment for my upcoming masterclass, because that's probably the number one thing that I'll tell everybody. You'll hear it again from me at the call is somewhere along the line, you're going to have to do an assessment of your life and kind of see really where you are if you're going to make some changes. And so sometimes that can be really painful, really difficult. And I've been there myself. And so as you have gone through this journey, you've learned what you've learned, you've developed your own sense of awareness, sense of self. Your confidence started to rise. You're beginning to live the life you wanted to live. You're creating the life you wanted to create. You're creating the income streams, because we talk about that a lot. The income streams you want to take. And what I love about Sharon is when I met Sharon, my mother, we had just had a loss in our family, like someone had literally just passed away. And my mother was struggling with sleeping. I'm ADHD, so I'm struggling with sleeping because my brain's on fire 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I didn't, even though I had used medication before and it helped, at that time I had just lost my job and I wasn't sure if I was going to get another job and I needed some other resource. And so Sharon, we had known each other at that point, maybe not really deeply, but just enough to be able to have still a conversation. And she guided me to stepping into essential oils. And I never knew what essential oils were. And I'm like, we do what? And it's what? And just what? And it didn't make any sense. And then I got invited to go to another company's essential oil stuff, and it didn't align with me. And then Sharon called me a couple days later and said, I just feel like you need to be a part of this. And I'm like, you know what? I just went to this company and I didn't like it. It didn't resonate with me. Tell me your stuff. And she did. And essential oils is now, a huge, I'm using it right now, by the way. It's diffusing in the house. It's on my beingness. I use it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't even imagine not having it. Like just the thought of it makes me shake. And I say that because right now, with everything going crazy in the world, you need the right type of opportunities and products that will support your wellness to live your best life, to design your life on purpose, which is what Sharon is all about. So Sharon, what I would love to also hear now is, let's talk about your group, the name of the group, the
Okay.
intention of the group, what you're going to, what are the top challenges you think women will have in your group, and what you're going to be addressing, and how it's going to really lead women to their next level of success at the place?
Sure. Well, you've alluded to the fact that design your beautiful life is kind of my tagline. But in this group, I decided I wanted to really hone in on some aspects of my life that have made a huge difference. So some good tools, so to speak. So it's mindset alchemy essentials. And we are going to go into things like, and these are tools, rituals, whatever you want to call them, but we're going to go into the world of yoga, which is not just asanas, just not just the poses, but all the encompassing parts of yoga.
At least
Mind,
you did the right word. I'm like, it's a what? I haven't gotten into that yet, but I will be there to do
yeah,
so.
good. Mindfulness and emotions. So, and of course, I'm always about talking about, healthy cooking, etc. That to me is kind of the part of the alchemy of it
Yeah.
all.
And you're
Um,
great at that too. Oh my
well,
God.
and eating for, really like vitality and nutrition. Um, so we're going to go into that. I'm one of the things I'm planning on doing, and November starts with November, for personal reasons and because I think a lot of people um, probably need this. The emotion that we're going to be discovering more about this month, because I'm going to kind of make it like each month maybe has an emotion
Love it.
that's the underlying theme, is going to be forgiveness.
Oof. So
Forgiveness is a
good.
big
So
one.
good.
And I'm going to tell you a little side story. Forgiveness is something that I have been working on because I told you a personal story already for that person. I suddenly just made like a declaration to myself. I'm just going to forgive. I don't want to carry that
Yeah,
angst
for
or
sure.
anger or any of that stuff anymore. Like I don't. It doesn't suit me. It's not
Oh,
good for
that's all
me.
I gotta say. It makes you old.
It feels awful.
It runs you down. Yeah.
It's not who I am. I don't want it anymore. So I started really working on forgiveness.
Sure.
And you know, a couple weeks ago, a really bad thing happened, and that person passed away in an accident.
I'm
And I
so
will tell
sorry.
you something. I know it's hard because it's, my daughter's father. And I will tell you something that having done that work, I was able to be there 100% for my daughter.
Yeah.
I was able to be around so many people that had been friends and felt still loving thoughts too, and many of them back to me. I was able to just feel at peace.
Oof.
And
That's
I was able to
chills.
sit up and speak at his memorial service
Mm.
and
Mm.
tell a little story that nobody else could have told,
Yeah.
and
Oh, it's
still
beautiful.
be there with love in my heart because, deep down that was still there too. And so forgiveness is a big thing. It's huge. And so we're going to
Mm.
go into, some areas of how do you forgive? What are some tools to use? What are, and there's certainly an essential oil that does go along with that.
Yes.
So we're going to go a lot into emotions,
Love
bottom line. And one of the things that I will be doing too is I'm planning on once a month as well, is having somebody kind of in the hot seat and doing one of my protocols, which is a essential oil emotions release.
I loved that
It,
process.
isn't that amazing? Yes, you were
Yes,
so
I
right.
went through
You
it and
were
went,
with me.
okay, that's deep.
And so we're gonna do that. And so this again will be on forgiveness. So then all of the holistic tools that I have used along the way. We'll be going into all of those. And I hope that as we go through that, the participants will also kind of guide me and let me know
Yeah.
like what they need, because
Yes.
I don't want this just to be me standing there and going blah 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 blah, do it this, do that.
Absolutely.
I want
Yeah.
it to really be a participant driven circle, because
Yeah.
that's what happens when we as women get together and we
Yes.
gather and we talk and we share with each other.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm hoping that that is really what happens in these circles.
And
Is
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you saying that because, there will be opportunities for you to go through different courses and modules and lessons. And if you want to have that intellectual piece, it's available to you. But the circles are for relationship. At the core, we're wanting to give you that partner that says, I'm with you on this new evolutionary journey of you becoming the highest and best version of yourself. Will there be some teaching from everybody in there? Absolutely. Will you have an opportunity to gain strategies and tools and products and programs and opportunities to make money? Absolutely is available to you at the place because we strategically designed it to do that. But at the core, it's about you being vulnerable enough to say, I need help. I want to be in a community that sees me, hears me, values me, and celebrates me, and holds me accountable to my greatness in a loving and supportive and caring way. And if you haven't noticed this already, every woman that's showing up at these interviews, you can see the softness, the love, the peace that they have. And the fact that Sharon is starting her group off talking about forgiveness and forgiving yourself, forgiving anyone in your past. This is really putting you in alignment for expansion and the ability to receive, because that's going to clear out that junk that's in there that could be the very thing that's blocking your ability to receive the very thing you need to receive and you want to receive. And you
Great.
may not even know you need to forgive, but you do.
Yeah, great point. And again, like you said, it's not just about forgiving others. It's a very internal thing too.
Yeah,
It's
very
like
much so.
there, I mean, I just did something that I helped somebody on a project and one piece of it kind of was falling apart. And of course, the first thing I do is internalize it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's all my fault. And even though, of course, it really wasn't, but you do it. And
Those
so
behaviors are there.
boy, I had to go back in and go, oof, no, like forgive,
Yeah.
like let this go, forgive yourself. Yeah. So all of these things too are not like a one and done. And that is
Right.
one of the things that I really try to make clear is that it's a consistency
And
thing.
this is why you've heard me say in these interviews, and you're going to continue to hear me say this for the rest of the summit, as well as a part of the place. Give us 365 days of your life, and your life will never be the same again. Why? Because it takes that kind of community, it takes that kind of process, it takes that death and that dying process, it takes forgiving and releasing and resetting and redefining and reawakening. It takes this whole journey where it's very intentional as a decision you're making. I tell people all the time, I tell this even my private clients, if you give me at least 6 months of your life, I'll change it.
Yeah.
Why? Because I know that I can.
Right.
That's what I do. And I continue to ask God, help me be a service that I can make women have experiences for success. I did that as a psychotherapist, and now I'm doing that in the business area. Now we're going to do it in a much larger area, and bringing women like you, Sharon, to be a part of this conversation, because I know you transform people's lives. We see the evidence of that with your community, and just in who you are as a whole. Again, you can see the grace and the beauty and the gentleness. I'm the hard one, like, get up, let's go. Like if you want someone in your face who's gonna, like, okay, I got you by the hand, I won't fight harder than you, but I will fight for you very hard, if that makes any kind of sense. and
Completely.
and and I always tell people, I'll get you to the other side, but I won't work harder than you, but I will work right alongside you, very, very powerfully. And I love the gentleness. I think this is why I brought so many women who are a little bit softer than I am, to kind of balance that out lovingly. And don't get me wrong, I can definitely be just as soft and gentle and loving and supportive. But I think we need more assertiveness to claim our right to live our best life. I will tell you, that's been my own journey for myself. And the reason why I love this topic of forgiveness, Sharon, I didn't realize how hard I was on myself
Mm.
from a critical, judgmental, unworthy. And it's so hard to even say that, because my mindset of that towards me was never that that's what I would do, because I don't do it to anyone else. I wouldn't do it to myself. But for those of us who are extremely strong, maybe very talented, ambitious, visionary, we're the ones that everyone comes to. Sometimes we don't see our own faults. Sometimes we use our giving and our talents as a deflectiveness to our own pain, our own hurt and fear and anxiety and worry and doubt. And it took me 5 years to see that I'd been sabotaging my own self. I've been hiding in plain sight, if you will. And it was forgiveness, forgiving myself first, then forgiving my brother, forgiving my mom, my dad, other people, And that's when life changed dramatically. And I can say the past 2 years have been phenomenal in a lot of ways because of the forgiveness work that I did.
Yeah.
And it took a while. It didn't happen overnight. Trust
And,
me.
and again, all of these things do, but it's such a gift to yourself, don't you think, that you did that work to.
I
Oh,
wish I hadn't done it by myself, though. This
mhm.
is why the place became so powerful for me, because it took me, if I'm honest, it took at least a good 8 years for me to go through that process because I'm stubborn. And sometimes God has to hit me across the head a couple times for me to get stuff. But once I finally started to pay attention to the signs that said I needed to work on this, um, what became profoundly clear was I was not supposed to do this by myself, but I was raised by a very strong Black woman who said, you can't trust anybody,
Ah,
and no one's going to be there for you the way you are there for them. So you might as well not expect it. And I think I end up training my mind based on what I saw in my family and in my culture to believe I can only do it myself. And it took longer for that forgiveness to happen. And then when it did, and there was space for me to say, okay, God, I feel peace now towards myself, towards my brother, towards my family, towards whatever. What else needs to be healed? And what came in almost immediately was, you didn't have to go through that alone. I didn't create you to do all this stuff by yourself.
mhm.
And so this is why the place is so powerful, because the world has conditioned us as women to be silent, to still hide,
Yeah.
to play small, and to do it all by ourselves. And we're suffering because of it. And because we're suffering, our men are suffering, our families are suffering, and so is the world. And so we've got to do this together, which is
Yeah.
why it's so crucial.
That's why when you started talking about creating this space, I really wanted to come in and be a part of that, to create a space where I could really share those things in a little more capsule, so to speak,
Yeah.
of
Yes.
people that I know. That's why they're there. They really
Yeah.
want and are open to receiving some of these gifts that we have to share. So that was a huge catalyst for me,
I
frankly.
love it. And that's the other thing too, is, I'm going to say this a lot. I don't want anyone to suffer alone. You don't have to go through this life by yourself. If you are going through a loss of your job, especially right now, since a lot of companies are laying off. I mean, I know a huge company, I won't say their name, laid off over 14,000 people within a month. And that's a lot of people who basically woke up one morning, went to work, and bye, you're done. And now, if they haven't strategically planned or had any other resources, their life is now forever being transformed. And we don't have to do this alone. That's not God's intention. That's not, and if you really think about it, you don't want to be alone either. Deep inside, you want to be in relationship with other people. Unfortunately, we've all been wounded in some sort of way that we're more skittish. We've been around other women who may have been catty or judgmental or critical, and now we're skittish about being a part of a community where women are gathering together. Well, I want to be bold enough to promise you that these women and myself and my executive team, we are guaranteeing, I'm going to be bold enough to say, we're guaranteeing that that will not happen here. We are not creating a place where that comes. And even as we get bigger, I'm still going to be even more aggressively active in making sure that that doesn't happen. If it means lovingly pulling somebody aside, say, let's have a conversation, or if it means I have to let you go because this is not accepted in the community, then that's what's going to happen. Why? Because I want us, I want you, I want the world to heal. And the only way we can heal is to come together and start having real conversations and being vulnerable. And that's the lesson I had to learn. It was okay to be strong and to also have emotions. It's
Yeah.
also have experiences in life. I don't have to do this by myself. And that's when everything changed. So you're not alone. You've got Sharon, you've got all of the, literally all the women you're meeting today and all the women you're going to meet tomorrow. And more women are coming in the future. There are other women who are not here right now, but there are other women who are a part of this process just as well. who are all here to link arms together. Like, imagine like all of these women from all around the world linking arms together and spiritually and energetically and divinely activating the divine feminine, that it starts to create this ripple effect. Like, this is the vision that I've had, you know, of women being on a stage with me, and we're literally letting the divine feminine move through us so powerfully that it starts to create this wave, this overflow on all the women who are in the audience. And then all of a sudden light bulbs are on, because women are being reactivated to their truths, to their power, to their sense of self, so much so that they start to illuminate who they really are. And the place is your place to have that experience, because you're going to be seen, heard, valued, and celebrated for all of who you are, good, bad, and ugly. And again, because I don't want everybody to come in and think they're not going to be held accountable to their greatness. You especially with me, maybe not with, but with me, I will hold you accountable to your greatness. And I know that Sharon will too. So Sharon, as I said before, after every single interview, you have an opportunity to meet with each speaker and their meet and greet. Her link has just been released below, and this gives you a chance to just meet Sharon and talk to her and have a conversation with her, and get ready to join the place. For those of you who are like, okay, I'm so convinced I need to be a part of this, you can go ahead and go to powerherplace.com. If you're one of those fast action takers, you want to get there before I start talking about it, you can go check it out right now and join the place and become a member. And we would love to have you, because we have some great stuff coming. We'll share more about that tomorrow, so that you can be ready to receive and change your life dramatically. So with that being said, Sharon, thank you so much for being here with me today and
Thank you, Anna.
sharing your beautiful heart and story and self. And again, I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm so grateful that you're here to share your wisdom with these women as a part of the place.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing other people in my circle.
All right, this is going to be fantastic. Again, Sharon's link has been released below. Go ahead and activate that. As soon as I close this, she's going to be there. You'll have a chance to meet with her, and we'll go from there. The next session is with me, everybody, at 3 o'clock. I'm going to come in and talk to you very, very briefly about living in overflow, so that you can prepare for 2024 and so much more. Much love, everybody. See you in a couple minutes. Take care. Bye.